Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. Happy Valentine's Day, Michelle.
Ooh, thank you, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
You feeling all lovey right now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like it's all right.
I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. I mean, it's cute. We always get the heart-shaped pizza.
Oh, that's right.
Popcorn
Yeah, we
pizza or
talked
something
about
like
this
that.
last year.
Yeah,
I recall.
exactly. Oh, it's the same.
I know. We're doing it again.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Okay, listen to what I have planned for Valentine's Day.
What?
Okay, so Facebook ads are apparently super good because I have been getting this stupid Facebook ad for these goddamn lobster rolls, and the girl on it who's eating these lobster rolls is like, and like makes it look so delicious. So now I've been obsessed with lobster for approximately a month since these ads pop up on my Facebook feed.
What kind of company sells lobster rolls?
Well, it's like a lobster company in Maine.
Really?
And so yeah, they ship it to you overnight. So I finally, and I was like, I'm just going to buy some. And then I got online and I was like, that was super expensive. I'm not going to buy any. I'm just going to, think about lobster rolls for the rest of my life. I've already started planning a trip to fucking Maine.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm obsessed. So finally, I said, fuck it. It's Valentine's Day. So on Friday, the day before Valentine's Day, my lobster rolls are going to show up.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot wait. We have 24 companies.
24 lobsters?
No, 24 lobster rolls. So it's like the hot dog
gosh.
bun, and then you fill it with lobster meat, and then you eat it. I can't wait.
24?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually went in with some other people. So
I see.
So we'll have a whole lobster extravaganza for fucking Valentine's Day, and I cannot wait.
All right.
I cannot wait.
Please let me know.
You want me to look at my Facebook feed for approximately 5 seconds?
Well,
and
no,
I'll
I'm going
find
to get
the
it on
ad?
my phone because they're listening. So I'm
That's
going to
probably
get it on
true.
mine.
Well, when you see it,
Okay.
you'll be like, those do look good.
I do like lobster. What are we drinking today?
Who even fucking knows at this point? No, love bugs. Because love is in the air. So this is the Love Bug cocktail, and we made a pitcher, not just drinks. So I'll tell you what it is in parts.
Yes.
So it's 3 parts. They call for white cranberry juice, but we couldn't find any, so we used sparkling cranberry juice, which turned out fine.
Yeah.
2 parts, so like lemon lime soda. We had 7-Up. 1 part vodka and 1 part grenadine. We went a little lighter on the grenadine, ended up having to go back and add a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they're delightful and refreshing, super easy to drink, and super easy to make.
Yeah. And they're cute. They're pink.
They are cute.
So.
A delightful drink for Valentine's Day. I bought plenty so I could have some the actual day of.
Oh. Nice. I like it.
All right, Caitlin.
All right. So
Do you have a loved theme story for us?
No. But it, it does happen on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. So this survivor is anonymous.
Oh, okay.
She actually wrote this blog. She never states her name because, some people want to keep private, and that's
Indeed.
totally fine. I mean, all power to you.
By all means, yes.
So just so she can have a name, I picked the name Sam or Sammy. So Sammy, that was a cute name. I love it.
Hella cute.
Right?
Good job. Okay.
So it is Valentine's Day 2018.
Okay.
And we're in Kansas City. Sammy is 9 months pregnant. And her and her husband has an appointment to be induced on Valentine's Day.
Oh, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Going back to an episode story you told a long time ago, about the poor woman who got the baby cut out of her. Do you remember that?
I sure do. How could you forget?
Yeah, how could you fucking forget? That was gruesome as hell. That woman who did that, she just recently was put to death.
Was she really?
Yeah, it was like the first woman in a gazillion years who was... Yeah, that's an accurate fact. Look that shit up.
Really? So
yeah,
she got the death penalty. I mean,
yeah, she had the death penalty and she was actually put to death 4 weeks ago. I've actually meant to bring it up numerous
Yeah.
times on the podcast, and now you bring up
I
this
didn't
poor...
even see that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I've heard of her. Sorry, probably I shouldn't be so enthusiastic
Right?
about a poor woman.
That is
Well,
crazy.
She was not very nice.
Yeah, who does that? That's
Did,
not...
I feel like, perhaps deserve... Well, who am I to judge? But she wasn't she didn't do good things.
No.
So, anyway, I apologize. I probably shouldn't have brought it up right at the beginning of your story, Caitlin, but here we are.
Well, that was really interesting. I didn't see that, so...
I know, I just thought it was
That's a
interesting.
little update.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And she was put to death.
So they're gonna be induced on Valentine's Day. Super cute. So their appointment wasn't until the evening. So they went out and had dinner, a nice Valentine's Day dinner. They got to their appointment at the hospital. They were just having fun. They were taking selfies, texting people,
Like, yeah, they're excited.
like, what time is the baby gonna come? It was all kind of fun. And I think that's the way to do it for me. I'd be like, just come in. You can have your baby this day. Like, all right. Like,
yeah.
sounds good to me. I'll plan it, put it on my calendar. So it is now around 5 a.m. So Valentine's Day has passed.
Okay,
but
so
they're
she's
there.
still working on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 5 a.m. she's laying there, and then out of nowhere, Sammy goes into cardiac arrest. And a team of people just rush to her, and they had to rush her to the operating room for emergency C-section and to try to revive her heart because it had completely stopped at this time.
Oh my god, I have total goosebumps all of a sudden. Oh my goodness, Caitlin.
So her heart has stopped for 14 minutes now. And they finally were able to get it beating again.
Oh my gosh.
They also had to do CPR on the baby, and he finally started breathing as well.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
No.
Was the father in the room?
I don't think he was in the operating room, but he was there. I mean, he was
He was at the hospital, of course, but not immediately. Oh my god.
Well, so Sammy's taken to the ICU, and baby is taken to a level 3 neonatal intensive care unit. So they separated them. So doctors quickly tried to figure out what was going on. And what they figured out was that she had a rare condition known as amniotic fluid embolism. AFE.
Oh, okay. Well, I can sort of garner what it is by the name.
Right.
But I'll let you explain it
Thank
before
you.
I try to hypothesize.
Well, I did look it up, yes. So
Can I guess?
Oh,
Can I hypothesize?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is what I think. That a blood vessel somewhere in the womb broke. But I could be wrong. Okay, now you say what it actually
Sorry, I was
is.
drinking.
Or, no, is embolism? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
So what it is that the fluid that surrounds the baby, or fetal material like fetus cells, they enter the mom's bloodstream.
Oh.
And when this happens, the immune system responds by releasing products that cause inflammation, that type of reaction.
Oh, interesting.
So this activates abnormal clotting in the mother's lungs and blood vessels.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so it's completely not what I thought at all.
But because of this, this can also turn into a blood clotting disorder known as disseminated intravascular coagulation, DIC. And of course, Sammy developed this.
Oh, no.
So Sammy has now been bleeding uncontrollably for about 7 hours straight. She needed 109 units of blood pumped back into her.
Oh my god.
Right?
I don't know how big a fucking unit is, but I don't think it's a tablespoon.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that a pint of blood?
I was thinking it was a pint, which is 2 cups.
That's a lot of blood.
That's a lot of blood. Now I gotta look up what a unit of blood
right?
equals.
Should we look it up?
Yeah, I will look it up. Equivalent to 1 pint. So,
Boom. So
but
it is
there's
a pint.
only 8 to 12 pints of blood in your body at one time. So it must have been coming out of her as fast as they were pumping it in.
I guess so. Just
Oh my gosh.
continuously.
Yeah, because 109, that's like 5 times the amount of blood that you need in your body.
Jesus.
Poor thing.
Holy cow.
How many units of blood in the human body? 10 units.
Shit.
That's wild.
109 units of blood. So it says
That,
in the
yeah,
blog,
so she must have been losing blood at a crazy
uncontrollably,
rate.
it said, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay, so it took 5 surgeries to stop the bleeding and repair more damage that occurred in her body. The cardiac arrest and blood loss damaged her kidneys, and she had to be put on dialysis.
So she was dead for essentially 14 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And then she started bleeding this torrential amounts of blood, and essentially they couldn't hardly pump it in fast enough, and now she's on dialysis as well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And not only that.
And there's more.
Yeah.
Oh, Sammy.
So, in just 12 hours, Sammy gained 70 pounds due to the blood and fluids that they were pumping into her.
Oh my gosh.
But this also caused massive nerve damage in her abdomen, hands, and feet.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness.
So,
I would have never even thought of that, but I
Right?
guess it makes sense.
so now we're going to go look at baby. And it is a baby boy, and they named him Sullivan. Isn't that so cute? Little Sullivan, he received a whole body cooling treatment.
Oh,
and what this
I don't know what
is,
that is at all.
this is where it's like a temperatured blanket that's laid on them, and they can control the temperature. So they can drop his body temperature from, where
Was he like had a raging fever or something going on?
Well, because he pretty much wasn't living, and he also needed 1 unit of blood.
Oh,
and he was declared brain dead. So they were trying to,
So were they trying to cool him to kind of keep his brain as
Yeah.
fresh as possible, for lack of better way of putting it?
They can control his temperature and not put him like hypothermia.
Oh.
So they knew how to do any of that. Anyways, so but it wasn't working. That's what I'm getting to. So sorry.
So it doesn't matter anyway.
Sorry. Aw. So they just decided to take him off and just see what happens.
How it went. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Ugh. Can you imagine the poor father?
Both of his loved ones. Yeah, I couldn't.
You have one rushing off to an ICU here, and the other one rushing off to a different ICU.
Yeah.
Both
Which
look
one do
like
you
they're
go?
about to die. I
Right?
mean, oh my god, I couldn't even imagine.
Okay. Anyways, sorry.
I suspect you would go to baby.
I probably
if
would
it
go to
was
baby.
you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nicholas.
Wait. Did
Well,
he
I
give
guess-
birth? to
yeah.
his face?
It wouldn't be a situation anyway. So maybe Nicholas drops from a heart attack, and then your baby is also having problems.
He's done that. I was getting a procedure done. I had a biopsy on like this weird skin thing I had on me, and he was there holding my hand, and she like put it in a bottle so they could go test it, and like swabbed him, like, so there's blood, and she showed it. All of a sudden, Nicholas passes out. And he passes out on my face. I thought he was going to go kiss me, but no, he just his head first right into my face. And so I'm holding him up while I am just lying on this bed. And they're like, oh, get him a chair. And apparently they have like juice and cups in there because that happens a lot. I guess people pass out from watching this happen.
It does not surprise me, because I thought I was close when we went into the emergency room, because Joel was cutting down a tree and got his knee with the chainsaw.
Oh, wow.
And fortunately, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. He comes hopping in and is like, hey, I think I need to go to the hospital. And I was like, what's the matter? And he shows me this like wound. I was like, ready to pass out then. So we go, and the entire cleaning process was gruesome.
Right.
You could like see his kneecap. They were, I was like,
See, Nick doesn't have any issues with blood, but it's just like mine, I guess.
Oh, your blood?
Yeah, he just can't handle it. So when I had to go get blood afterwards, like they had to do a blood test, he's like, I'm going to stay here.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and go there.
So instead of punching him to death, I'll just show him a little
a
bit of your
vial
blood.
of Caitlin.
Yeah. Down when he tries to show up at my house as a black-eyed children. I don't think so.
Oh my god. Okay. So it's been a few days now, and he's still alive from being off this cooling treatment.
Oh my goodness.
And actually, after these few days, they started to see improvements.
Okay. Are they seeing any brain function yet? Do you know?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. All of a sudden, he was showing no signs of any physical or mental issues. What? He was progressing as a normal baby would. Sorry. Wow, words are hard.
I know. We're struggling today.
Sorry. So yeah, so he's progressing like a normal baby. And
That's
like, he's
wild.
from brain dead to a normal baby. Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy. And just like, you would expect if you're brain dead, that's kind of it's for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
After 3 days, Sammy also is showing improvements.
Oh, I'm so happy.
She was so thankful for the doctors and nurses at this hospital that they went above and beyond for her family. She was there for a whole month.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Are you
trying
serious?
to recover. Yep. The team there helped her pump while she was unconscious. She could feed the baby. They even detangled and rebraided her hair. And they made her whole family comfortable when they came and visit, and the dad to stay with her as well. So she was just very thankful. For a whole month, like, you were planning a Valentine's Day baby. And
now you get to go home around St. Patrick's Day and probably never drink again in your whole life.
Sammy still had a long road ahead to recover, and she did get to go home, but instead of her taking care of her newborn baby, her whole family pretty much had to take care of her.
Aww.
And because of the nerve damage, she was unable to hold Sullivan. So she couldn't even hold her baby.
Oh my God.
Isn't
That's
that
hard to hear.
Heartbreaking?
That is heartbreaking.
Sammy had to relearn how to walk, and she was terrified that her brain would heal not the same as she
I would imagine
before. So it has now been a full year. It is now February of 2019, and her nerve damage has actually healed, and she is doing well. So she's able to hold the baby. She can think, clearly. She says that her strength and her brain is working as well as any new mom brain does. It's cute.
Oh, Sammy.
Sullivan is also healthy and a very happy baby.
Aww.
She is so grateful for her husband because he handled everything with such strength. Being able to take care of her, the newborn baby. He was there when she was there for the month. Like, he was a rock for her.
Oh. I'm so glad.
I know. She also says, I don't believe in miracles. I believe in science, and I'm thankful every day for the brilliant, compassionate, and dedicated people who surrounded me and my son. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them. Sammy really encouraged people to donate blood because that is what saved her life with all that blood that she needed.
Oh.
This rare condition happens 1 in 40,000 births.
Actually, that is kind of higher than, I mean, if you think of how many births there are in a year, I don't have that number.
I don't
But it's got to be more than 40,000.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And that's wild. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. But this is a leading cause of maternal mortality around the world, and it's second in the U.S.
Oh, wow. Well, I recently read some statistics, which I was very surprised to see, is that the U.S. is pretty high on the
mortality rate.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. No, I saw that too.
And it's like, what is going on? Oh, did I ever tell you about the time I tried to give blood?
No.
Oh my God. It was fucking traumatizing.
Really?
So, I'm in college. I'm bright-eyed. I'm fucking 18 years old on the campus, and I was feeling all awesome.
The world is your oyster.
The world is my goddamn oyster, Caitlin. That's correct. I probably had just signed up for about 6 credit cards because they also had that going.
Oh, gosh.
So I roll in before my morning classes, and I'm like, actually, I think it was after my morning classes, and I'm like, I'm here to give blood. Like, I'm amazing and I'm incredible. So I fill out the whole fucking application. They ask all kinds of questions about, tattoos and what kind of sex you've had and all this crazy stuff.
What kind?
Yeah, like, have you had anal sex and all this kind of stuff, because apparently,
it matters? Okay.
Yeah, they won't, at that point, I mean, granted, this was
no anal.
well over 20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would take blood from people who had, I could be totally wrong, but I think they...
Okay, anyways, this is interesting.
Yeah, we don't need to get into, but yeah, that was one of the questions about...
okay.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's invasive.
Kind of. Okay.
So I go, and they do like a quick little test ahead of time, and they're like, you can't get blood. Your blood sugar is too low. Like, because I think it's like lunchtime, and I, in my normal habit, don't eat anything in the morning ever. And so I guess I was just too low, and so I got rejected from giving blood. And they're like, you know what, go get a cookie and, maybe try again in another like 2 hours or whatever. So I go to the cookie place, and they're like, bitch, you didn't give blood. You don't get a goddamn cookie. I burst out crying in front of that old fucking lady. She wouldn't give me a goddamn cookie that I didn't want in the first place.
I remember that story, yes.
No, it was embarrassing, and I have not actually tried to give blood since.
Really?
No, never.
I like giving blood. I've only done it a few times. It's just my veins are small, I guess.
Oh,
and
so
they're
they struggle
hard
with
to,
it
they
a little
struggle
bit.
with it. Usually when I give blood, I have to do it on my hand.
Oh, barf. Ooh.
And the last time I had to get blood work, it took 3 nurses and 6 tries for them to get my blood.
Oh, okay, that's a hard pass
right?
for me.
Because each nurse only gets 2 tries
Before they have to bring
before they bring
else.
someone in. So it took 3 nurses and 6 pokes to finally get my blood.
Oh, hard
So,
pass.
I mean, I like giving blood, but they're just like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I'm just like, I don't want to deal with all
Well,
those pokes, I guess.
Yeah, I get that.
They kept asking me, like, you doing okay? You're doing it as I'm searching
Nah,
for veins.
bitches, I'm not okay.
Yeah, I'm not okay.
Oh, whereas I go and they're like, ooh, you're a bleeder. And they can
Oh my
find
gosh, I
out.
can see your
Yeah,
vein.
no, they just pop it right in there. I got another one, like, right there.
Do you see how it's small?
Yeah, where's your artery? Well, no shit.
Right there, yeah, right there. They always try to get that. It rolls, I think. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm so glad that Sammy is doing well. Sullivan, oh, so cute. I love that name all of a sudden.
You're like, I am
Cute.
down for it.
He sounds like a very sophisticated baby.
I know, or maybe an elf. I don't know. I'm reading
elf, I
Lord of the
guess.
Rings currently.
That's so funny. All right, Michelle, is yours Valentine's Day themed?
You're goddamn right it is.
Boom.
Of course it is. No, well, it's not on Valentine's Day. This
That's
happened
fine.
in July, but it's with honeymooners.
Ooh.
So they're freshly in love and out and about for adventure.
Cute.
So
Freshly
fucking
in love. I love
cute
that.
as hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they technically weren't. I think they knew each other for a good, 5 years or some shit before
You know,
they got married.
freshly married.
Freshly married.
There you go.
Yes. Okay, so this story is about Clay and Akami.
Oh.
So I apologize if
That's a pretty name,
Akami
though.
is not correct. Akami and Clay.
Cute.
So they had known each other for quite some time. So Clay, he was a handsome son of a farmer who had a charming and puppy dog-like energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm assuming he was very up and always ready to go and do fun things. So he was immediately smitten with Akami when he first met her at Purdue University in Indiana.
Oh.
So they had actually met at a square dance that was held for, I know, a square dance. This is I think it's 2018. We're not talking about 1950, just to be clear.
2018. No, there is a square dancing place next to my parents' house, and we always drove by it, and I always wanted to go. It looks like so much fun.
I had to learn square dancing
Really?
in middle school.
Oh.
So essentially, I've
Well, yeah,
taken
we did too.
4 years of square dancing. Do-si-do.
Oh.
That's all I remember. My favorite was the Virginia Reel. I do recall that part.
Hmm.
I don't remember what you do in the Virginia Reel, but that was the most fun dance.
Well, there's also a country bar that teaches you all these dances and stuff, and I want to do that. But I know a few dances.
I will not be participating in
Why?
that. Because, girl,
We can learn that.
have you... what do you know about me that makes you think I'm going to be down for fucking square dancing or any line dancing of any kind?
Oh,
You're like,
sorry.
because I've seen you drunk.
You're a great performer, Michelle, when you're intoxicated.
I'll kill
so.
everything about you, Caitlin.
All right,
I'm going to murder everything.
All right.
Okay.
Continue.
So he met her at the Christian fraternity that he belonged to, and she belonged to a Christian sorority.
Oh, okay.
So they got together. They met at a square dance. And
Cute.
we're like, oh, we love each other. So they dated all through college and some tough years after that. So Akami moved to Illinois for work, and Clay was busy finishing his master's degree. So they were actually apart for long distance. But you know what? They made it work. They took turns during the weekly 5-hour drives to see each other, but they were devoted and slightly old-fashioned. They refused to live together in the house that they bought before they got married. So they decided they were going to wait and then live together.
So they bought a house together.
They bought a house together.
But they didn't live in it.
They were going to wait until after they got married.
All right.
So just a fun little fact.
5 hours is really not that bad.
No, I mean, it could be much, much worse.
Right.
I mean, they could be across the country from each
I mean,
other.
it's only 8 hours to Reno, and we've done that, so.
Yeah, and I would do that right now,
Right.
frankly. I do want to go back to
I do
Reno.
too.
I want to go anywhere.
We should go for my 30th.
We should. And that's going to be fucking around the corner. God damn it.
A few months, man.
Are you excited? Your dirty 30.
No. I'm calling it my thirsty 30.
Ooh, I like that better. Actually, I like them both. You perv. God, Caitlin. Sorry. So Akemi was always a bit more of a worrier. She was a realist, a bit of a pessimist. She liked order and structure and all that. And then Clay was a little bit more of an optimist, a little more, fly by the seat of your pants type guy, And so it ended up being very good for them.
They balance each other.
Yeah, exactly. I see. Opposites attract. So they got married and they decided to honeymoon in the Caribbean.
Ooh.
Which, fuck yeah. So they were honeymooning in St. Kitts, as we just now found out is its own country.
It got its independence and everything.
So the island is actually dominated by a dormant volcano. Liamuga. So they decided they were going to spend much of their vacation scaling Mount Liamuga.
Thank you.
I can do it. So actually, this volcano was also called Mount Misery by the British who colonized the island back in the day. But it's actually a pretty popular day hike for a lot of tourists.
Oh, okay.
So off they go looking for adventure. The couple, dressed in t-shirts and sneakers, arrived for their journey in a rental car. And so they sort of pull up to the parking lot and they're expecting to see all these cars and, it being a pretty popular destination. But turns out it was like a dirt parking lot with nobody in it. So, and they even had to sort of look around for the beginning of the trail. So they eventually found a little plaque that marked the trailhead and off they went into the lush tropical growth. But it was not what they were expecting kind of right from the start. I think they were expecting something a little bit more well-worn, perhaps is the way to put it.
Well, you see a lot of, I'm looking at Hawaii for our honeymoon and stuff like that. But some of the places, right? It's so expensive, though. It really is. But some of the places, I looked up the pictures. I'm like, wow, this looks great. And then I, go to Google, and, the pictures, I don't know. It's different. And
well, a lot of the really sort of cool places are a considerable hike.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of my favorite places was this bamboo forest, but and they say it's a mile, but there's no fucking way that that's a mile. I mean, it's really? 17 miles straight uphill, and I mean, it's probably 2.
Yeah.
But because it's straight uphill, yeah, it's 1 billion miles, Caitlin. It's a lot. No, and it's just straight uphill, and if you're tired, and it becomes a lot, and anyway. That was my experience. So, back to Clay and Akemi. So they head up the trailhead, and they're finding that it's a very narrow path and kind of maybe a hard to pick out trail. But they manage it. And it took them nearly 3 hours, but they reached the peak, and they said the view was phenomenal. Just amazing. Made it all worth it. They could see the whole island below them. They could see the green rainforest cascading down towards the sapphire Caribbean Ocean. Ah, very pretty. Yeah, it sounds amazing. I want to go there right now.
I know, right?
They may have been tired and sweaty. Clay's red bandana was completely soaked in sweat, but they couldn't have been happier. Yeah. So they sat down, had a little picnic. They ate some sandwiches, took some selfies. They walked around the rim of the volcano, and all the while they did not see anybody else. So they essentially had this amazing place all to themselves. So they were kind of checking things out, walking along the volcano rim when Clay saw a little small trail. So it was semi-hidden beneath plant life, and it led into the crater of the volcano.
Oh, wow.
So he wants to kind of go down into the bowl of the volcano. So...
Is there any, warning signs? Don't pass this...
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It was essentially a bowl of green with a cloud forest giving way to a grassy meadow. So apparently it looked very inviting.
Right.
There was a series of screw eyes that had been drilled into the rock that ropes hung on. Oh. So it was like pittons, or I don't know what they're called, but it's like the metal is gouged into the rock. So the rope is permanent,
So people can climb
Yeah, so they can, because
Okay.
it's a very steep trail.
Oh.
So
I see,
it can
I
help
see.
you down and then keep your balance and then help you back up.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
So for Clay, the site was unbearably inviting. But Akami, excuse me, was like, nah, I'm not down for that.
Yeah, right?
So she kind of like went part way, and then when it got really steep, she was like, I'll stay here, I'll wait for you. Don't go far, don't be gone long, and, I'll see you when you get back. Have a good time. Probably, good times.
I'll watch you and wave.
Yeah. So she kind of hung out and was waiting for Clay to return, and after a little while, she heard a crash. So she heard a noise that sounded like a large branch snapping, followed by the sound of something big rolling downhill. So she calls out, she's like, Clay, and nothing. And so...
Hopefully it wasn't him, because if Nick described me falling as something large rolling down a hill...
You can fuck yourself, Nicholas. A dainty pebble, was that what that was?
Hello? What was that?
So Akami sort of fought back panic and was like, no one's called out. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was not Clay falling to his death in this fucking volcano.
Right?
Yeah. What was it? The
large
something sound of something big rolling downhill. Maybe it was just something else other than my new husband.
Right.
So she tried calling out again. She still didn't hear anything. And now she sort of talked herself into, it could have been anything.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just panicking. It probably wasn't that big of a deal. So she's trying to sort of lean forward to look down there.
Okay.
She doesn't fall. Spoiler alert.
Good.
Anyway, the way I said that, I was like, and then she plummets. But this time, she thought she heard a human voice.
Oh.
But it sounded very strange. And so she calls out again in this eerily childish tone that she hardly recognized. She heard someone calling for help. And so she knew most likely it was probably Clay. So she looked over the lip of the volcano as she tried to suppress her worst worries.
Absolutely.
Her phone was not getting a signal, and her cries of help were only met with silence because they're the only ones around. I mean, there's not any other tourists anywhere in the vicinity. So she just keeps yelling, Clay, Clay, are you okay? And she realizes, you know what? I gotta go help him.
Yeah.
So she grips the rope.
So she faces her fear.
She does face her fear. She's like,
goodness.
fuck it, I'm going. I'm saving him.
Yeah.
So she grips the rope and she starts scrambling down the trail. When the path became too steep, she sort of slid on her butt, and her legs and arms and everything were all getting bruised and scraped up, and but she kept on going. So just off the trail, she sees this like sort of flash of red, and she realized that it's Clay's bandana that was soaked with sweat, and next to it was his cell phone.
Oh my gosh.
So she's like, and no Clay.
Oh no.
So she grabbed them both and she continued down, sort of just screaming for Clay the entire way. And he was like, help, in his very strange voice. And so she's like, I'm coming, stay where you are. So she keeps on going down, and then she finally spots the white shirt that he was wearing through the trees.
Okay.
So she was pretty much prepared. She wanted to be prepared for what she was about to see, but unfortunately, I think it was kind of worse than she was expecting.
Oh, no.
So she goes up to him and she's like, tell me what's wrong. And he's like, I don't know. He's sitting there hunched over with his head in his hands and his back to her. And when she got closer, she could see that he was bleeding from the back of his head and that his neck and shoulders were scraped. Walking around him, she saw that he had been vomiting and that he had blood all down his face.
Oh my gosh.
So she wasn't sure exactly what happened. She was thinking maybe the rope that he had been holding had snapped, or maybe he just misstepped a little bit. But it was clear that he had fallen a long way.
Oh.
And he was badly concussed. So where are we? He was asking, and
oh no.
Yeah. So he was explaining, we're, on our honeymoon, we're on this hike, you fell. And he's like, why aren't you calling for help? And just sort of in this very strange voice. And so she explained that their cell phones weren't getting service and that they need to try to get out of the volcano.
Right.
And then 30 seconds later, he would be like, where are we?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was really bad then.
Yeah, he hit his head hard. So she said, look at me. And he looked through her with his eyes just swimming. Like, he just couldn't focus on her at all. And she was like, we're going to have to climb out of here, and you're going to have to listen to me. Mm-hmm. So she hoisted him up onto his feet, and he had no balance and could not support himself.
Oh, my gosh.
So the two of them stumbled forward, and she put his hands on the rope. And she told him to hold tight, and then she would sort of place his feet in front of him.
Seriously?
So yeah, and then would push him from behind. And so then she would they would sort of lurch forward, and then he would be sort of flailing around like he was drunk or something, but he was able to sort of control his limbs just enough to kind of listen to her, even though he was for the most part
Totally
kind of out of
it.
control. Yeah, and totally out of it. So when they reached a particularly steep section, she bent down, picked up his feet, put them in good footholds so he wouldn't slip, and then pushed him up. So that's essentially how they made it up this hill. So inch by inch and step by step, they climbed up. After what couldn't have been more than a half an hour, but she said it felt like forever, they reached the top. So it actually didn't take them that long to get to the top of the volcano. But remember, they hiked to get to the top of the volcano. So now they have this they're nowhere near their car. So she starts yelling for help, and she was hoping maybe there would be a group of hikers or something like that, but there was nothing. There was no one, no self-service still. So right now it's about 12:30, and when they parked, it took them 3 hours. So she knows she's got a 3-hour hike back to her car.
That's so long.
And when you're fit and healthy, 3 hours is still a long time.
Yeah.
But when you have someone who is
badly
bleeding
injured
and not coherent, and oh my goodness. So putting her husband's arm over her shoulder, she led him down the trail. She said it was almost like a black diamond ski run. It was sheer and winding, and it cut back and forth. And so it's just not like trekking through the park.
Right, yeah.
Oh, they're trekking through a freaking jungle practically. And all the while, Clay's legs are sort of flopping underneath him. So at times he would almost start to run down the hill without being even able to control himself. Mm-hmm. And then other times he would have a hard time even walking. Ugh. So it's just, she kept having to pick him up and get him going again. And oh my goodness. So they made their way, and all the while, of course, the sun is sinking because now we're getting into the afternoon. Mm-hmm. The path was confusing and indistinct because, it just wasn't a very...
like a guided type of
hike. We're not talking about an asphalted trail.
Right.
It's a very narrow trail that is actually not used as much as they perhaps thought it was used originally.
I see.
And so now she's scared that they have gotten off course.
Right.
And they're going to get lost with, and Clay probably is not going to be able to survive the night.
Oh my gosh.
So she's freaking out. She checked her phone again, still no signal. So after 2 hours, Clay is clearly getting worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He was losing what little control over his body he had.
Shit.
And every 10 minutes or so, he would stop, collapse on the trail, and begin vomiting blood.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And he would I just want to sleep.
No sleeping.
Stay awake.
Yeah, right.
Slap him across the face. Poor guy. Oh my God. But so he would kind of start shutting his eyes, and she would be get up, and kind of keep him walking. You're doing such a good job. I'm so proud of you. Good job. Keep on fucking moving. Because if you don't, you're going to die. Yeah. See, her stuff is much more encouraging than my interpretation of it. So all the while, she's still checking her phone. No signal. So at that point, it kind of dawned on her, maybe I should leave Clay and go try to find help on my own. I can be faster by myself.
That's true.
But she actually quickly nixed that idea because she realized he would probably just wander off into the wilderness and they would not be able to find him. Yeah, he'd probably injure himself even worse. He would go to sleep and probably die. Oh. So she just needed him to keep on going and just kept on encouraging him. So they continued on. her guiding the way the entire time and Clay barely being able to move forward. So after hours of painful but exhausting progress, they took a break. She pulled out her phone again and she finally has a signal. I know, it's like, ah! It was faint, but she was able to dial 911.
Oh my gosh.
And she actually heard, she was able to actually talk to someone.
Okay,
and she's
that's
like,
good.
ah. So she described what happened, the fall, the vomiting, the blood, the disorientation, all that stuff. The dispatcher, who was barely audible and could hardly hear her, asked whether they would be able to make it to the trailhead or did they need to send a helicopter. And she was thinking there was no way, looking around her surroundings and everything, that a helicopter would ever be able to land. I mean, they're in thick rainforest.
Oh,
and she's like, well, we'll try to get to the trailhead.
Yeah.
We'll give it a go. So they, knowing that the paramedics were on the way to the trailhead, they continued on the trail.
Well, that's a little bit of hope right there.
I know. She's like, oh. So, but as they got closer, Clay sort of took a tumble. And he rolled down a hill and just sort of ended up slumped at the bottom. He sort of woke up enough to vomit more blood.
Oh my gosh.
And then sort of just collapsed in a heap after that. And so she called 911 again. And she's like, I don't think we're going to be able, where are the paramedics? I can't get them out of here.
Yeah.
They need to start coming up the trail.
Absolutely.
So she hung up, she looked up and she looked down the trail and was calling out for help, we're here. And she did that until her voice was raspy and she could hardly talk. At this point, Clay is getting cold and clammy.
Shit.
And she didn't think he could go any further.
Oh my god.
I know.
It's your honeymoon.
I know, it's your honeymoon. Oh.
You lived apart. Oh, okay.
I know. Oh. So then she heard something.
Oh.
It was faint and could have been almost anything. So she didn't move a muscle and was just waiting to hear. And then she heard someone call out hello. And so she's like, we're here. And then 2 paramedics came into view. Oh, I know. Good Lord. So the paramedics wrapped Clay's arms around their shoulders and then they each took a leg. So it was 2 guys. They each had an arm and they each had a leg. So the paramedics sort of carefully carry Clay down the mountain to the ambulance that's waiting in the parking lot. And Akami came down as well and she ended up starting to hyperventilate and lost, her hands became numb because of the lack of oxygen. So essentially she gets back and I think, this is my own, she is beginning to maybe have a little bit of a panic attack and sort of is probably coming out of shock. And
oh, absolutely. I mean, she was super brave for him. And then once he was getting help, she's like, holy cow.
Yeah, I think exactly. Well, and she listened in horror as the paramedic in the back yelled out to the driver, he's vomiting blood. We have to get him to a hospital.
Oh my gosh.
So she's like, ah. So in the emergency room, doctors discovered how bad Clay's injuries actually were. So including the bad concussion, he had fractured vertebrae, a fractured skull, and a spinal fluid leak.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not good stuff. So he spent a painful week recuperating in the St. Kitts Hospital before being medevaced. Is that right? Medevaced? Anyway, to a hospital in Florida. So where doctors place a shunt in his spinal cord to drain out the excess fluid. After 9 days, he flew home to Indiana for several more months of physical therapy and visits with specialists, including a neurosurgeon and an audiologist. Hopefully I said that wrong. Mm-hmm. But he was alive. Right? Or I... Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping I didn't say it wrong. Hoping I said it right. Thank you, Caitlin.
I try.
I'll kill you. So, as Clay's mind slowly cleared, he realized the enormity of just what his wife had done for him.
Aww.
He was just fully amazed. So today, the couple are now in their home in Indianapolis, and nearly a year later, Clay has regained the balance he lost, but he's now deaf.
Really?
In 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Clay,
let me see.
I reacted too fast.
I know. I was like, oh, no, he's not fully deaf. Fucking read the other line, bitch. Oh, God. Nearly a year later, Clay has regained the balance he lost, but he's now deaf in one ear.
Aww.
It's not really that bad. A minor inconvenience at the worst.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd rather have that than be dead.
Yeah.
When they think about what happened, it's a strange mix of emotions. The honeymoon was supposed to be a chance for connection, island time, you know what I'm talking about. A chance to get to truly know each other.
Right. Sex.
Yes, Caitlin, that's what I was talking about. Oh my god. But their honeymoon quickly turned into a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it had also cemented their relationship. So the words "in sickness and health" were no longer just a quaint refrain said in front of friends.
Aww.
To see one's partner under the most awful conditions imaginable had created a kind of intimacy that was different from any other intimacy that they had ever experienced before. "We got shell-shocked, but in a good way," said Clay today. "You realize what you have, and you become so thankful."
Aww. That's really sweet.
So, that is the story of our two honeymooners. Fucking fall into calamity.
I couldn't imagine, like, having your loved one be that out of it. If I don't take care of them, they're gonna die. Like, that's a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress on you.
Well, and being at the bottom of a goddamn volcano.
Yeah.
Like, and
I
having
thought it
to
was gonna
climb
erupt
up.
or something. That's what I
know.
thought.
If only. Actually, that would have been... I know, I think I mentioned to Joel, I was like, I'm going to tell a story about someone falling into a volcano. And he's like, what? And I was like, there was no lava.
That's crazy. Oh, so sad.
I know. But they made it out.
They did. Their bond's even stronger, and they can finally live in that house and be
hopefully
together.
they could maybe take a do-over, honeymoon.
I don't know if I would go back there. I don't think I would.
Maybe go to a different spot.
So he did just fall really far.
Yeah, that's
he
pretty
just
much.
Slipped and fell.
They don't know exactly what happens, and I'm sure he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
But they think he probably just
slipped
a little bit, and
that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Story time.
Oh,
okay.
I'm putting my drink down.
No, it's not that great. But so a bunch of friends and I rented an Airbnb.
Okay.
And our friend kind of knew the area, and he's like, let's go on a hike. And I'm like, I didn't bring any like tennis shoes. I just had Converse. That's all I brought. He's like,
God, this fucking reminds me of a hike I took once.
He's like, it's like gravel. It's
no big deal.
It's no big deal, and it's not that long of a hike. Cool, great. We all go there, and what do you know? There's no gravel. It's just mud. It is just a muddy mess. And we tried all these shortcuts, and I am slipping. I am falling. I fell like 3 or 4 times on my ass and slid down these little hills.
Hard pass for me.
And I was pissed. And I'm like, gravel, right? Gravel? And then
you can fuck yourself, sir.
And then we get to the beach, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I couldn't enjoy it because my ass was wet with mud and shit.
You can't just sit because then you'll also be covered in sand.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm like, cool, can we leave now? So we had to go trek back up. Up was better because I found a stick that could, like, hoist my, like, try to... Fuck you, Austin.
Yes. Right to his stupid face.
I'm not going to trust you on any other hikes ever in my life.
You've lost all credibility.
All credibility.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So.
Yeah, I'm not good on hikes. I'm like, well, and I always remembered because when I took a bunch of like college biology classes, we had to do all these fucking hikes.
Yeah.
And I just remember breathing so loud. It was like, so now I'm trying to hold my breath but also breathe deeply. Like, cause like it was the fucking worst. It's like when I'm taking a spin class and my face is beet red and the instructor is concerned and calls out to you to make sure you're not going to fucking pass out in the middle of the class.
Oh my god. Oh, he's so... I feel the same way. Nick and I go on walks now. There's these giant hills, and I'm over there with my ass. I'm like, and Nick has to grab my hand and like pull me. Like, come on, you can do it. I'm like, and I
don't think you ever feel more unattractive than when you're tired after hiking up a fucking hill and breathing like.
Oh my god.
Oh god. I remember the same thing. I used to go on these walks around in this one neighborhood, and there was this one particular hill that was it was just a big hill.
Yeah.
And so one day I'm like, I'm going to run up it. I'm going to be fucking awesome.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm running up this motherfucking hill.
Uh-huh.
Well, running maybe a little bit. It's like probably a slow jog is more what
Still
it
good,
was. But I got to the top and there was all these motherfucking kids playing outside. So I totally like held my breath because by that point I was like,
oh my gosh.
I hate breathing super heavy. It's not good for my self-esteem, Caitlin.
Oh, same. I don't like anyone really.
That's why I just choose not to exercise anymore. I've just
Too
counted
much
out from that.
traumatic stuff happened, so. Oh my goodness.
Done with that forever.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, happy Valentine's Day.
Sorry, I'm like my throat hurts now from breathing. So.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, happy
All right.
Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day. We hope you enjoyed these stories.
Just know I'm eating some lobster rolls right now. Oh my god, I can't wait for those fucking lobster rolls.
You were talking it pretty good. I mean, that sounds. You might have to send me a picture.
I know. Well, I will.
Okay.
As I said, Facebook is listening,
yeah, that's
so
true.
Facebook probably already knows.
That's true. Yeah, I don't doubt that. But okay, cool. Well, we hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day or had.
You want to know who's going to be eating lobster the whole goddamn weekend? Yeah, it's this girl. Oh, I can't wait.
Good to know.
My phone's dead. Otherwise, I would show you the lobster right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for listening. Please follow us on all social media platforms and
don't let Facebook get into your head like it did mine.
I know, right? Well, we have Facebook ads sometimes.
Yeah, true.
So
we're just feeding the machine.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. Goodbye.
Bye. I won't talk more.